I feel like my ring light is lopsided. Hi, my name is Shane, otherwise known as Flaming Tarot, and I'm a light worker and healer, but most people just refer to me as a psychic because it's easier. And in this series, Ask a Psychic, I go through Reddit communities and find questions on psychics, spirituality, spiritual gifts, awakenings, healing journeys, and everything in between, and I answer them in this video. So let's go ahead and get on to the first question. Alright, so the first question. Has anyone ever had a tarot or astrology prediction that was so accurate it actually scared you? I've been looking into astrology and tarot recently, and I'm curious about the real world, accuracy of it versus it just being broad generalizations. I would love to hear your unfiltered stories. Have you ever had a reading that predicted something specific, not just you will face a challenge, that actually came true? Or conversely, have you had a prediction that was completely dead wrong? I'm looking for real life examples to help me understand if there is a genuine weight behind these predictions or if it is mostly confirmation biases. Alright, story time! So this story happened back when I was on Etsy. It was like when I first started my business, and after this story, I told myself, no matter who it is, whether it's a person in my personal life or a client, and no matter what the message is, I'm going to give it to that person, whether they are my client or not, because this event made me feel awful. So every now and then I'll have my spirit guides tell me, hey, you need to do a reading for such and such in your personal life. And I would be like, okay, do the reading. And then I would message them, whether it was through text message, Facebook, Snapchat, wherever I had their information, just to give them the message. And a lot of the time they'll be like, oh, thank you so much for this. Well, this one, so it was for this friend that I had in my life, and they were like, hey, you need to do a reading for her. And I was like, all right, once I get home and get situated, I'll go ahead and do a reading for her. It was all led to someone that was in her family was going to die, and she is going to be heartbroken and heartstruck, but that everything is going to be okay. I didn't feel comfortable telling someone that. It's like she didn't like ask for a reading or pay for a reading, so I was just like, oh, well, this was just someone that my spirit guides wanted me to do a reading for. I'm not just going to text her out of the blue and be like, hey, one of your family members is going to die. You're first going to be heartbroken for about a week, but you'll be okay in the end. Like, I can't do that to somebody. Why? Who would do that? And then what happens 3 days later? So this was back when I was working in retail. First of all, if you're in retail, get out. Get out of there. Please, run for the hills. I am so glad I do not work with the public anymore, because no. But anyway, I was working in retail, and she had worked at the same job as me, and basically I'm on the other side of the store and I hear screaming. Someone's screaming bloody murder. So I'm like running because I thought it was a customer that got like, like someone pow pow pow. Like, I didn't know what was going on. So I run up there, and the other employee that was on shift with us is like, oh, it's such and such. She ran to the break room. So I was like, okay. So I go over there. I comfort her since that was my friend before. And she told me that her grandfather was found dead. And the worst part about it, that was like the most effed up part, was that the person that found him the day before and just never told any of the family members or anything. Just found him and just waited a whole 24 hours before telling somebody. So after that event, I told myself, if I'm doing a reading for someone in my personal life out of the blue where they're not paying for it, I still need to give them whatever message it is, no matter how much it hurts. I apologized to her about it like months down the line, because like when she told me that, like when it happened and I was comforting her, I didn't tell her, hey, I did a reading for you a few days ago and this is what they said. I am so sorry for not giving you that message. No, I didn't do that. I just held it with inside of me and just made that promise to myself. And then I told her, like, months and months down the line, just like, hey, this is what happened, I'm sorry, because it's like I had been holding on to it, and I always need to come clean with everything, you know? So to this day, and this is for all readers, channelers, if you're in this business, make sure you give them the message no matter how hard it hears, whether it's for one of your clients or someone in your personal life. But on to question number 2. All right, question number 2 is called Energy Coming into My Energy Field When Falling Asleep. I am staying with my parents in a house they are renting after a move abroad until I find my own place. Every night here, as I am falling asleep, I feel an energy around me and coming into my energy field. I feel my heart racing and in my body a sense of anxiety, not sure why. The air feels thick and cold, and I have to wake up to close off my energy so it stops. I also have felt my energy being pulled and it's woken me up. I've never experienced this before and it only started when staying in this house. Does anyone have any ideas? Alright, so my biggest recommendation is that you need to cleanse your energy space. So it's like, if you're as sensitive to energy as me, because I am a very sensitive clairsentient, where most moon phases, whether it's a full moon or a new moon, that will get me all over the place. It's like I just know to take those days off because it's just bad. But also it's like I can feel energy of pretty much anyone and anything, whether they're around me or not. So it's like in my space, whenever I feel something that I do not recognize and nobody else knew has been in the house or anything like that, or I just feel any energy that is just feels unwelcoming or just feels new, I sage my house. No, I do not want it around me, because it's like the thing that you need to understand is that these things can actually affect your own energy if it's negative. And it's like I've dealt with so much negativity because, again, I worked in retail. You got 300 people coming up in that store. I was like going crazy. That's why I just don't go out in public no more, because it's like too much energy really gets me. And it's like I did not want to keep on having to come home every day, cleansing my energy space and raking myself. No. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that, but sometimes energy will come to you. So it's just like, you just need to cleanse your space. You can do it with sage, salt. If you're a Reiki practitioner or Reiki master, you can do it with Reiki. I just really think you should cleanse your energy space, especially if it's making you feel anxiety. That does not sound good at all. That sounds like it might be something negative. But on to question number 3. All right, so question number 3 is called Why Do We Learn Too Late? Sorry, this is going to be just disjointed. My mistakes, I have my share. I regret them, not even because I fear the life. Okay, I need to start over. Sorry, this is going to be disjointed. My mistakes, I have my share. I regret them, not even because I fear the life review, but that certainly doesn't give me comfort. It wasn't fun to fail at the time, and it feels worse in retrospect. Also, I know that all of these mistakes I've made, I would have known from my previous life reviews not to do. Why do we continue to make mistakes we shouldn't? The mistakes I will make in the future are different than the mistakes I've made in the past, because, again, we just learn too late. Again, sorry for the disjointed mess. I just needed to vent, and hopefully somebody or multiple somebodies can give me some good vibes and ideas. Alright, so the first paragraph of that was all over the place, but I got the question. So, there's 2 things I want to touch on. So first, I had posted a short about it from one of my old TikTok videos. Basically, everything in our life happens for a reason, and everything that we make mistakes on are lessons for us to grow, to help with any future endeavors or anything like that. It's things that we need to learn because it's going to help us in the future. Now, the second part, as far as the timing, so I feel like the timing is just right. So it's like whenever something amazing is going to happen, whenever something important in our life is going to happen, or whenever it's even something life saving, we needed to learn this lesson to help us with those future endeavors. So I feel like if it just comes out of the blue, I needed to learn this because something is about to come down the line. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to need this knowledge. And sometimes the knowledge could just be used just to help us grow as a person. But it's always important to remember that these mistakes are lessons for us. Don't be like dreading on it and being like, oh my god, why did I do that? Why? No, you needed to learn this lesson to help you in the future. So, on to question number 4. Alright, so question number 4, guides physical contact slash signal. Question for those who are in touch with their guides. I have been told that when you ask a question or when you are being given a signal, oftentimes you will have a physical manifestation, e.g., example, a light touch or on the brow or the face or light poke, etc. Some psychics experience a touch in one area for a yes and another area for a no to an inquiry. I have been experiencing a little tickle on the right side of my nose and on my left cheek for years after just being curious about things in my head. Obviously, I dismissed this earlier as itchy skin, but have come around. How do you determine which contact is what type of signal? For example, yes, no, warning, etc. So I believe that everyone's spirit team works differently. So it's like with my spirit team, they just talk to me for like yes, no, and then channeled messages. Now, what will happen is whenever I'm given like a pre recorded reading or a reading on Zoom, they'll tap me on the head for confirmation because sometimes I'll be thinking in my head, I'm like, am I giving this person the right message? Or something will come along to where it's like, oh, here's another interpretation of it, and they'll give me a tap. But usually, if it's a no, they just will just tell me straight up, no, this is the correct answer, sir. But something my spirit guides will do, because I am very hard-headed and they know this to a T. When they tell me not to do something and I decide to do it anyway, or I'm thinking about just going ahead and doing it anyway, they will make my stomach hurt and make me just stay in bed. It's like, do not get up from this spot. Your stomach hurts for the day. And it's because I'm hard-headed, so I see why they do it, because a lot of the time I just don't listen. And that's with a lot of things. Like, they'll literally say, no, if you do this, you're going to end up in the hospital. And I'd be like, okay, I've never been to the hospital before. Let's go. And they'll be like, no, you staying right there in bed. But as far as yeses and nos, sometimes they'll give me a tap on the head, but usually they'll just speak to me telepathically. All right, so on to the last question. And this last question is going to be post spiritual awakening for context. What is your highest realization so far in terms of understanding something that elevates your overall experience of life and being you? So, after my healing journey, the best part of what I learned throughout that experience is that life is meant to be happy. Yes, I'm here on a mission saving souls, but I also came here to be human and have fun. It's like setting boundaries with people. It's okay if you don't want something in your space. You can cut people out of your life. You can set boundaries with people. The thing that I had to learn is that my life is my own and nothing and no one can control it. And I love that for me, because it's like, why would you have something in your life that's going to make it worse or not make you 100% happy? It's like, now in this life, I will not settle for anything less than the best, and that is in any aspect, because it's taught me my own self-love and my own self-work, and that is something that nobody can take away from me, and that should be something that nobody can take away from you. So if something or someone is not working out in your life, get rid of it, because life is going to go on, and some things and some people are just not meant to be in our life. All right, but that was Ask a Psychic. I'm pretty sure we're on episode 3, but I actually don't know if we're on episode 4 or 3. And sorry it was a little late this week. I needed to take some resting time, honestly. So, we will be back for episode 4 next week. Love and light.